Hello everyone, Palumbo here. Video with regards to the case of Madeleine McCann. Before we start the video, you're innocent until proven guilty. Video we're doing today in the case of Madeleine McCann is with regards to a family called the Boyd family, folks. Now, for those who do not know, the Boyd family did an interview on the 19th of May, I think it was, 2007, with a magazine called First Magazine. The Boyd family, and in particular Louis Boyd, who was the son of the Boyd family, mum and dad, apparently on the Wednesday afternoon played football with Madeleine. Now, here's the article and the pictures to the right, but I'm not going to show you the family for obvious reasons. Privacy. The article goes as follows. Little Madeleine McCann was snatched from her bed 2 weeks ago, just before her 4th birthday, while she slept in a ground floor of holiday apartment in the Portuguese resort of Praia da Luz. The day before she disappeared, Maddie spent an idyllic afternoon playing in the pool area with 3-year-old Louis Boyd. Her mum, Vicky, or his mum, Vicky, shares her story. So here you have Vicky Boyd telling First Magazine that her son Louis played football on the afternoon of the 2nd of May 2007, which was the Wednesday, folks. Now, the article was written by Danielle Guzmaroli in Praia da Luz. Sorry for the pronunciation. Now, I'm not going to read it all, but I'll give you the gist of what this article was about. It says Louis Boyd could not believe his new friend was so good at football. After all, she was only a girl. The 3-year-old was having great fun, turning around with the pal he had met that afternoon. Her name was Madeleine McCann, and the pair of them were giggling as they fooled around by the pool while their parents looked on. But the next day, Madeleine, who turned 4 last Saturday, was abducted. The little girl was taken while she slept in a locked apartment. So there's this thing you've got to take into consideration with regards to this article, folks. This lady who wrote the article is telling you in the article that whilst Madeleine slept, she slept in a locked apartment. I thought it was unlocked. Goes on to say, on the upmarket Mark Warner Resort at Praia da Luz, on Portugal's Algarve. And again, here's a contradiction in the article, folks, because it says when the posters went up announcing that Maddie had disappeared, bear with, Louis didn't understand. He said, "Mummy, isn't that the little girl I played with yesterday?" says his mother. Vicky, I told her. It was And he said, "Why are there pictures of her everywhere?" I told him that Maddie had lost her mummy and everyone was looking for her. He really went quiet. So here's the second contradiction in the article, folks. Because unless the Boyds stayed up all through the night, from the 3rd to the 4th the next morning, then the only time the posters went up, as this article states, would be on the 4th of May, folks, the day after Madeleine had disappeared. That's when the posters went up. Yet this article says that when the posters went up, Louis Boyd said to his mum, Vicky, "Wasn't this the little girl I played with yesterday?" Now, take that in, folks. If the posters went up on the 4th of May, and Louis Boyd tells his mum, Vicky, "Wasn't that the little girl I played with yesterday?" it means that Louis played with Madeleine on the Thursday. But the article is supposed to be saying that Louis played with Madeleine on the Wednesday. Because that's what the article was about. It was supposed to be about Louis Boyd playing with Madeleine on Wednesday afternoon. Yet Vicky tells the interviewer, Daniela, who wrote the article, that her son said to her, "Mummy, wasn't this the little girl I played with yesterday?" This was when the posters went up, folks. The posters didn't go up until the 4th of May. So if the posters are going up on the 4th of May and Louis is telling his mum, "Wasn't this the little girl I played with yesterday?" it means the little girl he played with yesterday, he would be playing with on a Thursday, folks, not Wednesday afternoon. The article then goes on to say, Vicky, who works in a bank, was sitting by the pool as Maddie's mum, Kate, 38, relaxed on a sun lounger and watched her daughter whizzing down the water slide. Maddie was wearing a sun hat, a little pink top, and a blue skirt, occasionally stopping to pull faces at her mum, Kate, as she looked on adoringly, Vicky recalled. Maddie went from the poolside to the play area to have a game of football with Louis. Just a sweet, happy little girl playing in the sun with other children. So Vicky is telling Danielle, who wrote the article, that Kate was sitting on the sun lounger, relaxed, and Madeleine was wearing a sun hat, a little pink top, and a blue skirt, folks. Now, if the article is saying this with regards to Wednesday afternoon, then it is saying that Madeleine was wearing a sun hat, a little pink top, and a blue skirt on Wednesday afternoon. Now, with regards to Wednesday afternoon, folks, Madeleine would be in the creche because she was signed in the creche according to the creche register. So when this took place, it would not have been Wednesday afternoon because Madeleine was in the creche. So I assume Vicky is relating to the time the McCann spent in the pool area and the play area after they had their high tea. So I assume it would be Wednesday afternoon after IT. Now, take this in, folks. Vicky tells Danielle in this article that Madeleine was wearing a sun hat, a little pink top, and a blue skirt. Wednesday afternoon, folks. Like I said, during lunchtime Wednesday afternoon, Kate McCann states she went running with Matthew Oldfield. During Wednesday afternoon, Madeleine was signed into the creche up until I think it was 5:30. Now, what usually happens with the creche is the children are taken from the creche up to high tea around 5 o'clock. Then from 5 o'clock till 5:30, they are given their tea. Then the parents take over, folks. So I assume Vicky Boyd, if she was referring to Wednesday afternoon, is referring to the evening of the afternoon, after the children had high tea. They would often go into the play area and play around before they went to bed. So, Maddie is wearing a sun hat, a little pink top, and a blue skirt. According to Vicky, on Wednesday afternoon. Here's the creche registration document for Wednesday afternoon, folks. As you can see, it says Madeleine McCann signed in at 2:45, signed out by Kate Marie Healy at 5:30. Wednesday afternoon. Now, if you go to the morning, here is Madeleine McCann. She was signed in at 9:20 by Jerry McCann. And at 12:30, she was signed out by Kat the nanny, folks. So, in order for Kat the nanny to sign Madeleine out at 12:30, she would have had to have come to some arrangement with the parents, folks. That's Kate and Jerry McCann. Now, what that arrangement was, we will never know. That's what the police should have asked. Now, according to Kate McCann's book, on Wednesday at 12:30, she picked up Madeleine along with Jerry. But as you can see, it says at 12:30, Kat was signed out by the nanny. And in order for the nanny to sign Madeleine out at 12:30, arrangements have to be made, folks. That is the required thing they have to do. If the parents cannot pick up Madeleine, they have to make arrangements. What those arrangements were and what Kate and Jerry McCann were doing regards not picking up Madeleine on the Wednesday in the morning. You see, if you look at the creche registration file for the twins, Amelie and Sean, Kate McCann signs them out. So she signs Sean and Amelie out at the creche where they stayed by the tennis courts at 12:25. But no one signs Madeleine out apart from the nanny. So where was Jerry? Why did neither Kate or Jerry sign Madeleine out of the creche on Wednesday morning when they'd signed the twins out? And what was the arrangements with Catriona Baker for her to sign her out? Anyway, I'm going off the subject now. But they are strange things that need to be asked with regards to Wednesday, folks. That's the point I'm making. So, I'm just showing you that Wednesday afternoon, Madeleine McCann was in the creche from 14:45 till 5:30, or she was signed out after high tea at 5:30. So, with regards to the article Vicky Boyd, I assume she's referring to late evening after the children's high tea. Bear with. So, here are the holiday photos, folks. As you can see, there's a picture of Madeleine McCann. Now, to the right of this picture, it says page 588, Madeleine Beth McCann. Now, look at the date and the time it was taken, folks. It says it was taken in Portugal at 17:15 on Wednesday, the 2nd of May. Now, this is the afternoon that Vicky Boyd said Madeleine was playing with her son Louis. The 2nd of May, Wednesday afternoon. Now, people believe that these photographs did not show the correct dates, folks. Now, if Vicky Boyd is telling an interviewer in First Magazine that her son played with Madeleine on Wednesday afternoon, then, like I said, it could only be after high tea, because from 14:45 up until 5:30, Madeleine was in the care of the nannies, folks, in the creche and during high tea. At lunchtime, Kate McCann would not be around the pool because she said she went running with Matthew Oldfield at lunchtime. Now, in that article, Vicky Boyd states that Madeleine was wearing a hat, a small pink top, and a blue skirt on Wednesday afternoon, folks. Now, here is, if you believe this was Wednesday afternoon, here is the picture of Madeleine in the holiday photo list, which is supposed to be recorded at 17:15 on Wednesday, the 2nd of May. And as you can see, she is not wearing a hat, she's not wearing a small pink top, and she's not wearing a blue skirt, as Vicky Boyd said, folks. Is she? And that's what I'm trying to get over in these videos. Because if you cross-reference everything like a police detective should, then you would know that things do not add up, folks. Vicky Boyd tells an interviewer in First Magazine that her son, Louis, played with Madeleine Beth McCann around the pool area and the play area. They played a game of football, folks, on Wednesday afternoon. And whilst doing so, Madeleine was wearing a pink hat, a small pink top, and a blue skirt. Then Vicky Boyd goes on to say in that article that her son Louis, after the posters had gone up, told his mum, "Isn't that the girl I played with yesterday, mummy?" Now, the posters did not go up, until the 4th of May, folks. So if Louis is telling her mum, or his mum, wasn't that the girl I played football with yesterday, mummy? And he tells his mummy on the 4th of May, when the posters went up, like I said, unless they stayed up all night, along with the children, it means that Louis played with Madeleine on the Thursday, not the Wednesday. It's a contradiction, folks, isn't it? See what I'm trying to get at with regards to the article? You don't know whether you're coming or going with regards to this case. Vicky tells an interviewer that her son played with Madeleine on Wednesday afternoon. Whilst doing so, Madeleine was wearing a small pink top, a hat, and a blue skirt. And yet I am showing you a picture taken supposedly on Wednesday afternoon, and Madeleine is wearing long trousers, a hoodie type top, and she has no hat on, folks. And then I showed you, with regards to the article, Vicky Boyd telling the interviewer that her son, after the posters had gone up, the posters did not go up until the 4th of May, folks. I showed you Louis Boyd asking his mummy, wasn't that the girl I played with yesterday? The posters go up on the 4th of May, and Louis is telling his mum, wasn't that the girl I played with yesterday? Yesterday would be the 3rd of May, folks, wouldn't it? This is what you do when you cross-reference things, folks. This is what the detectives should be doing. Asking questions. Makes you think.